Hello, and welcome to another episode of The People's Rose. I am Jarrett,
And I'm Brooke.
and we're a married couple that loves watching reality TV. So much so that we have a reality TV podcast, and you're listening to it, The People's Rose. We watch just so many reality TV shows. We watch the Bachelor Nation shows. We watch the TLC shows. We watch the Bravo shows. We watch the Netflix shows. We watch the Hulu shows. We watch them all.
Peacock.
Traders. We watch CW. We'll start watching FY Island.
Oh my gosh.
So,
CW
we
entered
watch
the
the
chat?
CBS. We watch the CBS shows.
Everything.
If there's
Paramount.
a network with a reality TV show, we've at least assessed it and see if it's worthy of our time.
Yes.
And the shows that are worthy of our time are also the shows that we talk about on our podcast. This week, we already had an emergency Love is Blind with a little Bachelor in Paradise sprinkled in episode. This week, we're excited to talk about the other shows that we watched this week. That includes The Golden Bachelor, Go Gary. That includes Amazing Race and Big Brother as well this week. And we can't wait to get into it. We're going to get a little bit of Brooke's Buzz, a segment.
Brooke's Buzz is back.
Exactly where my wife talks about the best of the rest, shows that are a little more Brooke focused, we like to say. A little more up her lane, and just the latest in reality TV news. We get that from her. We may or may not have other segments coming in, so just stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, we would love to begin with a new reality show that we've been watching this fall that is from reality shows that we love, the Bachelor Nation shows. Oh, love's a strong word. That we like, the Bachelor Nation shows. The latest and in another episode of The Golden Bachelor with Gary.
I just want to set this straight. We came correct this week. We got notes. We are ready to chat.
Yeah, most week we had notes. Last week we just got hit. I think it was like
crazy.
With the reality of all the shows, the reality of all the reality shows we watched, it's kind of overwhelmed us. But we're back at it again, attacking it head on, applied directly to the forehead. So yes, Golden Bachelor. Go ahead, Brooke.
All right. Well, so we start out with a bang. We have a girl gang who has formed called Askin. Okay. We come in with Kathy just running the show, talking about this girl's saying too much and this girl's looking all down until Gary comes in, and then they perk up. And so in this little gang, Kathy as the leader, Askin, we have April, Susan, Kathy, and Nancy. And they're just chit-chatting, talking about, everybody, basically. I can't remember, what was, like, the purpose of their little gang?
So, yeah, well, I don't know if it's a purpose, but I like how the episode started. We got that sneak peek of Gary crying. And, oh no, what's he crying about? They've been doing the sneak peeks a little bit. I kind of like that a little bit. And then they cut to the women talking about, oh, there's, we just love each other, and we're all here to find love, but we're all here to love and respect each other. Girl power, cut to Kathy. And it kind of set the tone for what this episode was going to be a little, and I like that the producers did that. As for Askin, that's April, Susan, Kathy, Nancy, Askin. That the purpose of that segment, I don't know why they joined. I think they're just friends. It wasn't a purpose, but I just think at that moment they were talking about, Teresa is just, she thinks she's all that in a bag of chips.
Were they already talking about Teresa?
Mm-hmm. It was talking about Teresa and how, if I remember correctly, that's what they were talking about. How she was just, he said some of the women. No, you're right. You're right. They weren't. I think they briefly spoke on how some women already think they have it in the bag.
Yeah, they were at that point, I think they were just being kind of general.
Yeah, but then they also said, have you Kathy, which is the ringleader, we've seen that, was like, have you noticed that some women are just like this? And she acted like she was bored and depressed.
Right.
And then Gary walks in the room like, oh, hey, Gary. Oh, my gosh. And it's like, yeah, that's the show, Kathy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to be friendly around you. It's just you're trying to get Gary's.
Yeah, Kathy's definitely the instigator of that girl group.
Kathy,
the producers are loving it. They're
right?
like, Kathy, tell us about Askin, and
Yeah.
she's like, okay, so
it's so interesting. These women, we've got a couple. I think we're on episode. I forget the number we're on. Maybe 4. And we got all the warm and fuzzies and this is good.
Yeah.
We've got that, and now they're slowly starting to be like, okay, but this is The Bachelor, so let's get to the cattiness.
Well, not even just The Bachelor. I mean, you are living in a house with people you don't know. Yeah. You're learning different dynamics.
Exactly.
Like there's always going to be a little bit of clashing, and
it's good to see that women are still people in general can click up even at that age.
Yeah, I think that is just natural.
I don't think Askin is because the rest of them, April is fiery and sticks up for her friends, but I don't know if she's a mean girl.
Yeah.
Susan's definitely not. Susan's the best.
I mean, I think it's definitely just like, oh, this is just a fun. Like I don't think they're getting together to bully people.
But that's how most cliques are.
Yeah, right.
They're really just friends, but then there's one who's like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Look at Jared and Brooke. Are they really doing a podcast?
Exactly.
It's just like, oh my god. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. Okay, so that's Askin. And then Jesse comes up and tells them how the week's going to go. We're going to have a group date and a one-on-one. He kind of lied. There was actually basically 2 one-on-ones because the group date winner got like a really intimate date. Sometimes the group date winner on these other shows doesn't really get like intimate time. It's just like, oh, let's sit in the hot tub for 15 minutes, or like, oh, we'll stand by on this pier, just the 2 of us, and talk to each other.
Right.
But we get a group date, and this group date is going to be a talent show.
Oh my gosh, we love the talent shows.
You know, it's so interesting. I think I kind of had this thought, and I've seen this really materialized. You didn't really have as many, although even the one that was nervous did a great job. And I wonder if it's because at that age, you have such a realized, or should, ideal and a picture of who you are. And you have you should have a strong self-image of what you are good at and what you are in confidence. That I wonder if it was easier for these ladies who have lived a long life and like, look at these little kids. Yeah, I'll go out there and like do something crazy in front of them. Than it is for these 22-year-olds, 25-year-olds who get up there and like are unsure of who they are in life, their station, what they're doing, and now they're on TV doing a talent show. It just seemed a lot more natural for these ladies than it ever does on some of these younger seasons. You don't agree?
Yeah, I just feel like I know some older women who would be like, no, I am not subjecting myself to that. I'm not doing that.
Even the one that was, though, did great. She's the one that ended up winning. And and
I think for her, it was more so she just was like nervous. Like, I do not do public speaking. Like, I don't want to get up there.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I mean, we had some great talents.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Well, I mean, let's get into it.
Yeah, okay, ask your question first.
Well, let's see. Who was like the standout for you?
For me personally?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk through them and we'll see who we think. Because I have to read through them again and remember what we saw and what they said. Before it starts, Leslie knows out the gate. She's like, I'm going to kill this. I'm not scared. I'm a natural performer.
Right.
I was a dancer.
Right.
For however long, whatever. And also, Joan is the one who's super nervous. She's like, "Oh gosh, this is horrible." Criteria Gary's looking for. He didn't say he's looking for. Oh, I'm looking for the most talented. I want to see who's got the best, stage presence. He said he was looking for someone who's good out of their comfort zone, who's willing to try new things and how they'll respond to it. And Caitlin Bristow is a judge. She said a couple brief words.
We had a couple cameos this episode.
Yeah. She said a couple brief words, but nothing of substance. Mm-hmm. And then they got into it. So Sandra starts us off. She tells a joke. She's not a stand-up comedian. But she did know how to command the stage.
Yeah.
The joke had a good payoff.
Yeah.
She had a little physical comedy with it. I think I said this because this is basically all we see Sandra this episode. Mm-hmm. Her personality is so strong.
Yeah.
She's clearly so lively.
Yeah.
I think she's.
And she looked gorgeous at
yeah, she
the
looked great.
rose ceremony. She, like, her hair was up.
Yeah.
She had her glasses off. She had a black dress on. She looked so pretty.
Yeah, she on another season, maybe another guy. She might be a front runner.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for whatever reason, just how the world works.
Mm-hmm.
Her and Gary don't seem to have the strongest connection, but she's definitely, and she's getting a lot of screen time because I think people can see that.
Yeah.
So then Susan does karate. She broke a board.
Do you think did she do that?
No, because they had an outfit. They had some like plywood, looked like they got from like Michael's or something. Not even plywood. It looked like balsa wood or something like that. And she had an outfit.
Wood expert. I didn't know you knew so much.
Well, now you know.
Okay.
And she had an outfit like that. To me, was the clue because it's like she didn't really bring her karate outfit and have it ready to go for this. Probably wouldn't have got her one. You know what I'm saying?
But do you think that she actually does karate?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
She might have.
They were just like, here is an option.
Yeah, they were probably brainstorming. She's like, oh, what if I like break a board karate style? Okay. So then Ellen talked about, she basically gave her sex ed talk that she does because she's apparently a sex ed teacher to sixth graders.
Oh.
And so that was interesting. Crowd really got into that. Faith, of course, she sang. I know I said that I didn't care, but I'm slowly starting to be like, really, Faith, are you going to incorporate singing at every chance?
Yeah.
April gave a motivational speech that we saw bits and pieces of. She clearly loved it. She had musical backing.
Right.
Nancy caught whipped cream in her mouth. Really bottom of the barrel stuff right there. Leslie, okay, let's talk about her dance routine. Okay. I'm going to be honest. Not impressed. She was moving, she was grooving. I can tell she likes to dance, but if someone has been saying they're a professional dancer, I danced for Prince so well he wrote a song about me, I was expecting, I don't know, something like, oh wow. But it was more just like, oh, you look like a older lady that likes to dance.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. It wasn't anything super, it wasn't anything super special. I do think she moved really well for a woman of her age, which is great.
Right. She literally moved really well on Gary at one point. It turned into a lap dance.
Gyrate on Gary. Yes.
And kicked over a trash can. I was like, and I bake. And it's just like,
yeah.
She did okay. She did a great job, just out of confidence.
Yeah.
But if this was a dance competition, I'm voting and sending her home.
Sure, yeah.
Now, let's talk about Leslie. Well, okay, and we have, of course, they show Kathy and Nancy, 2 parts of Askin in the off. No, it was Kathy and Teresa, whoever it was. They were looking on at Leslie with like,
yeah, I think it was Kathy and Teresa.
Whoa.
Just looking at her, like they cut to their faces and they look kind of mortified.
It looked like 2 principals.
Yeah.
Like, young lady, stop that right now.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Leslie. They're giving her this arc. And she is feeding into it with her responses in we're just going to call it diary room on this show. Mm-hmm. In the diary room interviews, but she is like, they're showing as if she's like the girl that is like, I don't get it. Like, I'm so sexy. I bake. You know what I mean? I'm the fun girl. Like, why I'm like, it's like having trouble being deeper. Like, it almost make it seem like, oh, Gary, I bet you'd like it if I like danced. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, fed you some cookies, and like, and then there's gonna be, oh, but he might pick the one with substance. Is he gonna pick the hot, young, sexy 60-year-old, right? Or you know what I mean? Or is he gonna go with his heart and pick someone?
I would agree. They are giving her an edit.
That's the edit, but to be honest, she says a lot of that in the thing, right?
Yeah.
So as much as I want to like buy into that, like I'm almost, and maybe she does have a little less self-awareness when it comes to vulnerabilities and stuff like that, because she does like to have fun and dance and bake cookies. Mm-hmm. But I'm also like, okay, producers, let's not get too shallow. I'm sure this woman has depth.
Yeah.
Like, let's also, when we can, find time to see that.
Yeah, I
agree. Maybe she doesn't show that, but that's, what do you think?
No, I think you're spot on with that. I agree completely.
And so then they do a commercial break. Joan's ready to go on the stage. She's nervous, and she has written and she's going to recite her poem.
I don't know why, but this this, and maybe it was just in that moment, in this episode I realized Joan is really pretty.
Yeah, she's very pretty.
One of the prettiest ones, I think.
Yeah, and I would say she was the standout for me.
Oh, okay.
I think I also would have given her the win. And that's so cliche because she was nervous, but she incorporated her nervousness.
She did.
Into a genuine poem.
She used it to her advantage.
Yeah. And she didn't deliver it. They might have had to edit her. Like, okay, can I start over? Right. But so what we saw is she did it very eloquently, and it seemed natural.
Yeah.
And it did express her like genuine, like happy to be on the show. So a lot of the other women, except for Leslie did dance on him. You know, their talents were talents. Joan found the clever way to make her talent about her crush or liking of Gary.
Yeah, that's true. Hers was the most sentimental. It was the most vulnerable, I will say. You know, just going based off of creativity, I got to give it to Susan and the karate. Like,
really?
That is like nobody else would even think to do that. I've never seen that on any of the other like seasons or anything. Like, I just felt very I don't know, it felt creative.
Okay, sure.
I mean, you know.
I think it wasn't as... Yeah, okay. I think if it wasn't for Joan, I would give it to Sandra. You know, Sandra just seems fun. She seems really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it. So she wins. She gets the one-on-one time with Gary. She and Gary go to this, I guess, a museum or gallery of some kind. They sit and like admire and have dinner or like little whatever date. They talked about what it's like dating after the death of a spouse and how people how these arbitrary time limits. But you really just go when you feel like it. And they both said they felt like it. She talked about, which will come up later, but she talked about her a grandchild being just born, her daughter just have a child. That was complicated.
Well, she was talking about how it was really hard for her to leave because her daughter was about to have a baby.
Well, had a baby just 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's, she felt like, but she said she was ready to do something for herself.
Yeah.
She gets a rose.
Well, then immediately following, next day, she's on the phone with her daughter, and she's like, I'm coming home. Like, I gotta come home. Your text said it all. Like, you need me there. And she then says, like, I don't want to leave, but I have to be a mom. Like, this is my top priority right now. And she's like, my daughter's labor was not a normal labor. Like, it was really tough and really intense, and she needs me.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Wow, this is about to be controversial.
Uh-oh.
Let's finish your thoughts.
Well, I just was going to say, so then she goes and tells the other girls, hey, I'm leaving. And then Gary shows up to go on his one-on-one. And she's there to meet him and tells him that she's got to go. And he's sad. He's distraught. He's like, I woke up so happy because of our date last night. And I mean, he's crying. He's very sad. But, duty calls.
I agree. So here's the deal. Wow. And this could be dead wrong, but I think one of two things could have happened.
Oh, gosh.
No, this is a controversial part, but it's going to lead into a statement that I'm like, of my opinion on it. But anyways, it could have happened that at the date with their one-on-one time with Gary, because she's also had another one-on-one talk with Gary, right? Where they got deep. That she could have said to herself, I really like this guy. And he is fun, but I'm not feeling it. You know what I mean? Not in like, oh, I despise you, but it's just like, do I see this guy being the guy? No. And as the closer you get, the older you get, the less time you have for playing around.
True.
So it's possible that she was already feeling that about her daughter and was like, okay, if I meet him and it's just like, yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll stick it out. But after spending enough time with him, maybe she knew, like, he's a great guy, not for me. I need to get back to my daughter.
That could be true.
But hearing her say, I don't want to leave, connection with Gary he had was, her was strong. He cried about it. Hearing all of that, I really hope that it was that Joan decided it's time, because I just don't think me and Gary are going the distance. Because otherwise, man, I'm not a man, right? So I didn't have to go through childbirth,
No.
and we don't know how complicated her pregnancy was. But here are my questions.
Oh gosh.
I know there's nothing like your mother coming and supporting you. I get that. But can her husband not help?
Well, you
You
don't
know what
know.
I'm saying?
She might not have a husband. She might be single mom.
You're right. She could be. My point is this. I think personally.
I think you're on very thin ice.
No,
I think lightly here.
I think as a child, as an adult child to a parent, this is just how I think it. As an adult child of your parents, right? They've done so much for you that if she's on a journey to find love, I would ask her, how's it going with that? You know what I mean? I really miss you and really wish you were here. But if you're doing this for you to find love, I want you to continue. And I am there to support you because I know how lonely it's been since Dad passed. Because I do think people will have the right to partnership. You get what I'm trying to say. Like, it's like a big part of that life. So it's like, I'm just going to say it. I do not know all the circumstances.
Right.
But I just hope it wasn't a selfish thing of the daughter to ask her mom to leave the show.
No, I don't think it was at all. I think that she was, as a woman who's had a baby, who had her mom there with her, I think that her mom was asking, how are you doing? And she probably said, not great. It's been 2 weeks. Whatever her surrounded it, she's probably still going through. And I think as soon as she said that, her mom was like, well, I'm coming.
No,
I
agree.
And for all we know, her daughter could have been like, no, Mom, it's okay. Don't.
I know.
And she was just like, no, I need to be there. And maybe it was because she didn't see a future with Gary. But I just think that her priority as a mom took over.
I hear you. I hear you. Right. But I'm saying, at what point do you, as your child, have to let your parents take over?
Yeah, but but her mom made the decision on her own. She could have been like, no, Mom, stay, Mom.
No, right, but there's a difference. And we don't know this. We don't know exactly what happened, right? But you can say, like, if I call my mom and say, like, oh, I just, don't come over, but I just broke my leg and can't get to she would be like, I'm coming over. No, oh no, please don't. Please stop. You know that, oh, you don't have to. Please stop.
Yes.
Hold on.
Oh,
you don't have to. Please stop. All I'm just saying is I feel like you could kind of know I'm going to not even say it. When my mom texts me, I'll be like, yes, things are going, we're working through it, but I'm so excited for your journey. We can't wait to get you back. And please let us know, keep it up. How do you like Gary? Is he great? Kind of thing.
Yeah, but
and it's different because I don't know the mother-daughter relationship, especially with childbirth.
Right.
But I'm thinking as a guy. I'll just say that as a guy, my approach would be, it would have to be abject, just like the worst. I'd have to be in the worst moment of my life.
Yeah,
because I do. It's I'm so thankful my parents have love. You know what I'm saying? And that's so important to relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I just think I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We don't know enough. I said too much because we don't really know.
Yeah, you have said too much.
I just I hope Joan, and being on national TV is probably going to really help her Tinder game. But I hope she gets her opportunity to, be there for herself and find love. I see what you're saying.
I hope so too.
She does. She's a mom and she loves being a mother. It's just, I just hope she gets to have love in her life. She clearly wants it. Wow, who knew we were going to talk about Joan for that long?
Yeah, that was... Oof.
Okay, so what happens after that on the Ellen one-on-one?
Okay, so then we have Michael Costello. So, throwback to Project Runway. He is a Project Runway all-star. He's a winner. I would say he might be second most popular after Christian Siriano, even though you did not know who he was.
Okay.
But he's been pretty successful. But anyway, regardless, he dresses Ellen for the date in one of his gowns that he's created. So, of course, she looks beautiful. She goes and meets up with Gary at a park. And Gary presents Neil Lane earrings to her.
Very nice.
This is his second gift to her, right? Because didn't he
gave her the
picture?
frame.
And now he's giving her diamond earrings.
That's a
and
strong
a
sign.
ball gown.
That's a strong sign.
Yeah, it's a strong sign. So, I mean, they have a pretty good time. They just talk about, his early days of marriage, how him and his wife did not have a lot of money.
Yeah, that was sweet.
And some of their struggles. And then she talked about how she met her, well, we don't know if he was deceased or if it's an ex.
No, I just think they divorced.
But she said they met at age 10, which is wow. And then she said they had a 25-year relationship, and I don't know if it was 25 years from age 10 or like 25 years after they got married at legal marriage age.
I think she said 25-year marriage, right?
Oh, I don't know.
And she said that was the route that she said that was the route that led to 25 years of marriage.
Okay.
So it could be like, we met when we were 10 and we've known each other that long, but we didn't like fall in love when we were 10. But we knew each other and went down a route of crazy life that led to us getting married for 25 years.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, that was good. She got a rose, of course. And then we are back to...
What'd they do for their date?
I mean, they literally were just at the park.
I don't know why. I thought I saw them walking to a air balloon. They did not ride in the air balloon?
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Our son was having a meltdown, so we were both kind of distracted. But they did... go to see some hot air balloons be released.
Okay, just released. They didn't go on it.
I don't think so.
I wonder if the plan was to get on and they're like, no, we're not doing it. So they just watched them. Because they are older. Yeah. Probably, if I had to guess, older than everybody on the production staff.
Yeah.
So when the 22-year-olds might feel like, I guess we have to do it, production said. Right. And these old timers like, nah, I'm not doing that. Right. And production's like, oh, right. I guess they're not doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So then we go back to the mansion and we have Teresa, who is like tripping and talking to Kathy about how she, is sad that she hasn't gotten to talk to Gary a lot this week and how great their one-on-one time was and how he said all these things to her about how much he liked her and how they made plans for the future and all these things they were going to do in the future and travel. And they were saying like, oh, well, why don't we just leave now and go travel? And Kathy was not having it. Okay, Kathy was so annoyed. She wasn't at that moment saying anything to her face, but she was like talking smack about her behind her back, right?
Yeah.
So then we get to the cocktail party. And we see it kind of bubble over because, actually Kathy starts crying and she's like needs to take a minute because she's just distraught over what Teresa has said. And I'm sure a little bit insecure with her relationship with Gary. Yeah. So then Gary comes in and he talks with Kathy and Kathy's like, yeah, I've just had a rough afternoon. Yeah. And Gary just kind of swoops in as knight in shining armor and gives her a rose at the cocktail party.
Yeah, well, it was more than just saying about it. Even she just said that there's people that are being mean to her in the house.
Yes, she did say that.
She's got tons of little daggers that have been thrown her way. And Gary was like, who is it? What's going on? Is there someone I should be aware of? And she was just like, let's just say that there are some people that may appear a certain way,
Yeah.
and they're not as good as the way they're trying to portray themselves to you.
Yeah.
So she didn't really tell, but it was kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm being bullied.
Right.
People are singling me out. So that's why Gary felt so compelled to lift her spirits.
True. Meanwhile, the rest of the girls are inside chatting,
and they kiss, and it wasn't any good.
No,
So
it was
I
like
know,
a
like,
peck.
it was not like, oh, okay, I cheated her up, and now we got. It was more like it was just not a good kiss. So the chemistry is lacking.
Yeah. So meanwhile, the girls inside are talking, and Teresa says something like, "Yeah, I just think it's really important to get FaceTime with him." And then April kind of goes off and is like,
yeah, I think that happened before this, but before the Kathy.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
April goes off and she's like, "Yeah, I think that any intimate time that people spend with Gary, they should just not talk about it. Like, they should just keep their mouths shut." And so then Teresa realizes, oh, is she talking about me? Mm-hmm. And so then confronts April, and April's like, yeah, like, you're saying too much. And then Kathy comes in with the rose, and of course they're all jealous. And
no, that's not true.
What?
Kathy came in with the rose, and everyone literally clapped for her and said, "We're just so happy for you." And yeah, you just that's so great. And I'm just so happy. Leslie said, "I'm just so happy she got a rose," and people were literally cheering her on.
Okay, but do you think that's true? Do you think they really felt that way?
Well, that's what they said.
Yeah,
literally, everyone said we had no evidence that anyone was jealous of her in that moment. I'm just being honest.
Okay, fine. Cut that.
No, it's okay. It's in there now.
So then Kathy goes and talks to no, I'm sorry. Teresa goes to talk to Kathy, and she's like, what's up? And Kathy's like, well, I think you're hurting my feelings with the way that you're talking about your relationship. Like, you're acting like none of us are here, and you and him are already riding off into the sunset, and it's just, you're making me feel like I'm not good enough for him, basically.
Yeah, it was such a wild, swift change because Kathy was, oh, Gary, here's my family pictures, and I'm just having a bad day, and oh, you gave me the rose? Oh, that's so beautiful. And then she walked in, and they're all like, yay, Kathy. She's like, I know. And then Teresa's like, hey, Kathy, can we talk? And Kathy's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk. I just think, you kind of suck. She's just like, her demeanor changed. It's just like, yeah, just shut up, Teresa. At that point, had me going like, oh, poor Teresa.
Yeah, but, well, so then Teresa gets very upset and goes into the bedroom and cries. And she's like, I just feel so bad that she thinks that. And then Faith comes in and comforts her. And then Gary sees her crying in there, so he goes in there to talk to her, and he's like, what's going on? And she tells him, and he had a good response. He's like, I think you should just maybe not worry about it. Just let it go. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, yeah, I was surprised that that's who it was, that it was Teresa that was upset, and I just kind of need to, like, keep my eyes open with what's going on in the house.
Right.
So basically that was the whole evening, and then, right? I think that's it.
Right, and we go into the rose ceremony.
Yeah.
So all the women look beautiful. We forgot to go back and see if Sarita was eliminated, and that's why we're not seeing her, because I could have sworn she got a rose week 1. But
she must have gotten eliminated because she's not there.
Yeah. Excuse me. So we get the rose ceremony. Everyone looks great. You know how they do it usually. People are talking like, oh, I just hope I get a rose after all the drama. I hope nothing bad happens. So anyways, Faith, Sandra, Leslie, Nancy, Susan, April, Teresa eventually all got roses. It was kind of funny. Leslie didn't even wait for him to say, will you accept this rose? She just walked up and was about to take it out of his hands.
Right.
So she was happy to get a rose. And that meant, unfortunately, Edith and Christina were eliminated.
Edith. Beautiful Edith. Maybe she can go on Bachelor in Paradise.
Hey, honestly, she'd probably do well. So this is interesting. I wonder how many people noticed this. I didn't really go on social media to see people if they saw this, but as Gary's coming back, Kathy and Teresa were standing next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And Kathy, for whatever reason, had taken a few steps away from the group. Or maybe because Edith and Christina left, she was just condensing the group as they were standing. But she started like pushing back towards the group, and it was just her and Teresa. She literally started like not aggressively, but just pushing and like moving Teresa back. Almost just think of her like a dog like shepherding or herding sheep. She just started like pushing her back, and I was like, "Whoa!" You know what I mean? It was enough that if any normal person would go like, "Excuse me, are you okay?" And so then they cut to them having a conversation, and Teresa, I thought was going to make amends. She's like, that was just so beautiful. He says, it was just a beautiful day. Are you okay? You like, did you have a good time? And Kathy's like, that I got a rose? Yeah, felt great. And then Teresa, little Miss Teresa, she said, Gary's just so great. Like, for instance, when I was like in my room crying and Gary walked in and he just really comforted me. And like that one-on-one time I had with Gary. And then Kathy was like, in your room? Teresa was like, yeah, he came into my room. And it cut to Kathy like, what is wrong with this girl?
But then Kathy actually did say to her, you gotta stop. Right. She's like, you just gotta stop saying those things.
And Kathy said the lines, I don't know if she's just the most naive, dummy to keep doing this, or if she's doing it on purpose.
Right.
And I gotta admit, even though Kathy's not, Snow White here, I am also starting to wonder. Because you would think, even if you're doing it on accident, if everyone says, Jared, please stop rubbing in your love life with Brooke. Some of us are single here and it's starting to feel like you're kind of antagonizing us by saying how much you love your wife, reminding us that we're single. I'll be like, that sounds crazy. But because I don't want to offend y'all, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. If I keep hearing that and then go like, you know what I love? Having a life partner, not having to go home to a lonely bed. Right. After all of that, at some point, it's like, I'm the problem.
Yeah. Right.
And it was also just like the snide way she did it.
Yeah, right. Because she was like, oh yeah, he's so great. He did this for me.
Right, I was like, you're doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I think you're right. I don't know. I think she is just I do think it's that she's a little naive, mostly because of the way that her reaction to Kathy earlier when Kathy was like, you're making me feel, and she got so upset.
Right.
I don't know that she got so upset because she felt bad or because she was just like embarrassed that she was coming off this way. But regardless, she's not aware of how she's coming off. I don't know though.
Some people use that as a tactic. They're always smiling and always polite. And when someone says, I know, but the things you're actually doing are kind of getting annoying. Then they go, I would never mean to do that to you. I'm just, that's not who I am at all. I'm so sorry. And everyone's like, Jared, how dare you say that about this person's so nice. Then that nice person is smiling, just like, yeah. Like, people act that way. And I'm wondering, I got to keep my eye on Teresa. If Teresa continues to do this, I'm going to have questions. Yeah. Also, Kathy's from Austin. Go Texas. We're having an all-Texas ALCS in the Major League Baseball, so I'm feeling very Texas-centric right now.
There's your Texas.
Yeah, so there's our Texas.
There's your sports section.
That's not true. We got more coming up. Maybe we don't. So that's what we ended on. We got a preview for next week. Looks like we're going to get some declarations of falling in love coming. Looks like we're going to get some pickleball activities, which is, very appropriate for their age group. And we're just excited for that next episode. Okay, it's time for the long-awaited return of the future award-winning segment, Brooke's Buzz.
What would I get? Like a Grammy? I mean, not a Grammy, like an Emmy?
Well, yeah, maybe we should. I'm sure there's podcast awards. They make up awards for anything nowadays.
Podcast awards.
But yeah, we could. If we recorded an album, you could get a Grammy. But I doubt we're gonna record an album.
Okay, so I I actually do have a lot, so I'm gonna try to go fast because I don't want to keep y'all here all night long. So, first one, I have a throwback to America's Next Top Model because on TikTok I saw the season 4 winner Naima. She came across my For You page, and she was talking about her experience with winning, which I thought was so interesting because obviously I watched that way back in the day. Did you ever watch America's Next Top Model?
No, Brooke.
Okay.
No, of course not.
Well, I thought you might like think the girls were hot, so you wanted to watch it. I don't know.
Every clip I've seen of the people on America's Next Top Model, none of them are my type, so I doubt it.
All right. Well, so just a couple things she said. She gives a little BTS. So she said that, which you probably know this, but I didn't. When you win money on a show, there's a prize tax of the money. And she said that the prize tax is 40 to 60%. So her winnings, they advertise like with the amount that you win. She said her winnings were $100,000, but she only got like $50,000 of that. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't really know that. That's kind of a bummer. 50,000 is way different than 100,000.
It's only kind of a bummer because she got $50,000 for free.
I mean, true. Like, I'll take it, but you know.
Oh, you'll take it, I'm sure.
Anyway, and then the other thing, another part of the prize was she was working with Ford Models. She got a contract with Ford Models, but she said that it fell through because she had like. I think she said she cut off all her hair and they didn't like that, and then there's like something else and they didn't like it, so she got fired.
Okay.
Which she said that she had no ill will towards them because she did get the prize, she just didn't do what she needed to do to keep it.
Right.
So, yeah, so I just thought that was really interesting. And then moving on, Kardashians. Okay, so, you know, we're going real heavy on the Tristan Khloe of it all. Okay. And I kind of think it's just because she's willing to put it out there. None of the other sisters are really willing to put their love lives out there because we also have Kylie showing up, not ever speaking 2 words about Travis Scott or about her new love with Timothy Chalamet, but they keep alluding to it. They alluded to it when she was talking about her relationship with Kim, and then they alluded to it this week when she showed up at an event and Malika was like, "Oh my gosh, you look so good, you're glowing." And she was like, "Oh, I just truly feel like I'm myself again." And we're like, okay, so we all know what you're talking about.
Right.
Like, but you just aren't going to say it. So that's kind of annoying to me a little bit, but I mean, it is what it is. It's her life. She can choose to say what she wants and not to say. But so back to Khloe and Tristan. Tristan is now living with her because his home, apparently the roof was falling in, and so it's quote getting fixed. But Khloe is like continuously telling the cameras, "We are not together. He is my ex. We are not together."
Right.
And then even this week she's meeting with.
But they still co-parent, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And even this week she's talking to Scott, and Scott's like, "So are y'all hitting it, you know?" And she's like, "No. That is a boundary. We don't cross. He has his own room. I have my own room." So it's just tough because another aspect of it is that Tristan's mother passed away.
Yeah.
And when his mother passed away, he took over guardianship of his brother who is disabled.
Yeah.
And so now him and his brother are living in Khloe's house, and Khloe has become a second caregiver to his brother.
Right.
And it's just the fact that Khloe is willing to do that, I actually think says a lot about her as a person and just kind of her values and her just what she's doing. And she said, like, I did the same thing for Lamar. When Lamar was going through it, he was in a coma, I was there, I was playing music for him, I was talking to him when the doctor said, "Don't do that, it doesn't matter, he can't hear you." And she was like, I did it because I just, I thought that's what I would want if I was in this situation. And then she said when Lamar woke up, he was like, I heard everything that you did for me.
Wow.
So it's just like, oof, it's a lot. It's a lot. And she's talking about how she's been doing so much for Amari, that's the brother's name, and about how she was saying all these medical things, and Tristan was like, "Wow, you know more than I do." And I'm just kind of like, so what? And she keeps saying Tristan's moving out when his house is done. They're moving out. So I'm like, so what is going to happen with Amari? Like, who's going to take care of him if you're doing majority of the taking care of him now?
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. That's not really my issue to worry about. It's just, I just think it's a really tough, sad situation.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think it's good that she's stepping up and do that. I mean, part of it that is her children's uncle.
Yeah.
So it's not like just totally an ex.
True.
It is. Her children are literally related to her to the person.
True.
So I hope Tristan doesn't use that as a crutch and like, oh well, when you have such a good relationship with him, like he says he only wants your help or whatever. Mm-hmm. I hope we'll see what happens with that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, in the episode prior to, it was heavy on the Tristan, like saying, Chloe, you're my person. I can't believe I did. Well, he didn't say, he said it nonchalantly, but he was like, yeah, I've just been working through how you're my person and I just could do such horrible things to you.
Yeah.
And Chloe went into like coddling mode almost, where she was just like, it's okay, like I'm always gonna be there and I forgive you, and I'm like thinking, no, I would have been like, yeah, why did you do that? No. But I'm sure that they've had these conversations over and over.
From what I've seen, I have not. You've seen maybe hundreds of thousands of hours of the Kardashians. That's high. Thousands of hours at least. I have seen much less. But what I have read Chloe's book, by the way.
Oh, yes, we did. We read that together when we were dating.
What I know about Chloe and what I've seen, I think she has a predisposition.
Disposition. I think it's just disposition.
Yeah, but I think she's is it pre-inclined is the word I'm trying to think?
Maybe just say what you're trying to say.
She is pre-inclined to be caring and giving. Yeah, like she is a giver, right? She's a carer. She's a forgiver. And as much as like, and sorry, I mean, I just see it differently. I think it is healthy, and I think it does show growth that she was able to say like, yeah, you're still the father of my children, and it was messed up that you did that for me, but I'm not going to ban you, but also I am going to set boundaries and I'm not taking you back.
Yeah,
I think I agree with Milton from Love Is Blind that it would have been a kind of weird for her to go like, yeah, Tristan, you suck. Why'd you do that? It would show that there's still a lot of hurt that she would need to get over. Maybe not get over, but like level with, right? Yeah. So I that's one of the things I respect about Chloe is that I know she's always in the media. Like people are like, why did she take Christian back?
Sure.
Why did she do that all that for Lamar? Well, I think she knows who she loved and what she was willing to give to people. And as far as I can tell, when she was done with Lamar, she was done with Lamar.
True,
Lamar has like spent years being like, I messed up with her.
True.
I want her back so bad. I would take her back, and she has not relented. You know what I mean? Because she's like, I gave you everything past that, and you burned me.
True.
And Tristan, she's given Tristan everything in multiple chances. So I'm not worried about her falling for the trap of Tristan, because I do think she's a confident woman to be like, I like to give, and that has nothing to do with you. So I will help you take care of your brother and my children's uncle. But if you think you're getting back with me, that's, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I think I'm just like, I don't think it's her job to make him feel better. And so I think that was kind of where I was like, ugh.
Well, but have you ever heard about people, like you've heard that, like some people like to make other people feel better and they don't feel as if they're being like, you know what I'm saying? They like cheering other people up and being there for people. And that's what makes them feel better. And I think Chloe is like that.
Maybe.
So, I don't know if it's her job, but it's, if she's close to Tristan, which clearly she is, she seems like she doesn't mind doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got?
I mean, that was pretty much it. We're getting a lot of Kim and her, what she does work-wise and, all that. So,
yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Okay, so Christine from Sister Wives is now married to her new boo.
Mm-hmm.
I think they look very happy. I'm happy for her. I think that, based off of his social media, he seems like all in, and I just love it. Okay, now we have to discuss Clayton Eckhart because a couple eps back, we were talking about the alleged girl that said she was pregnant by him, and it has now come out that she was lying. They did a DNA test. She's not even pregnant. And that this has, and that this is like a scam that she's done before. So I was definitely wrong, but I will always believe a woman who says that she is pregnant, because there have been way too many women who have been pregnant that men have left and just like tossed aside, for me not to believe them. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, yeah. That's that. And then, okay, we got, Michelle Young, one of my favorite bachelorettes of all time. She, did a soft launch of a new boo this week. She did a photo of them at a tailgate, and he was kissing her cheek. You couldn't really see her face. And then another one of them holding hands in a car.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know who he is, but the sleuths are out there trying to figure it out.
Right.
And I'm sure it's only a matter of time till we do see his face.
Right.
Okay, then we have, oh my gosh, we got a new trailer for Real Housewives of Potomac, which that's one of my favorite franchises, so I'm excited about that. It looks like we're gonna have a big, Mia is one of the housewives. She's married to a man named Gordon, and they are going through a divorce, and it looks like we're gonna get a lot of info on that this season.
Mm-hmm.
And he recently did an interview with TMZ where he alleged that she cheated on him.
Yeah.
And so that's gonna be pretty messy, I think. Then I will do a brief catch up on couples retreat, 90-day couples retreat. So Kelly and Molly officially broke up at the retreat. So they left. It's over. It's done. No, there's no reconciling. Now Kalani and Asuelo, it comes out, I think last time we talked about how he had admitted to cheating on her.
Right.
Well, in the most recent episode, it comes out that he actually has cheated on her throughout their entire relationship, and she was just keeping it a secret.
And so that's why she was so ready to, well, it was so easy for her to, I don't want to say easy, but that's why when he said, okay, you can cheat too or have a extramarital,
a hall pass.
Yeah,
she took it.
She took it because she probably felt I don't want to say how she felt, but I can assume maybe having him cheat on her multiple times is just like, well, clearly you don't care, so
sure,
why should I? Maybe.
Right. So I don't know if I talked about this, but at the retreat earlier in the retreat, she had agreed to block the guy that she
Yeah,
had
you talked about that.
Well, in the most recent episode, she saw Asuelo like hiding text messages on his phone
While they're doing this couple therapy?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And so she's like, that's sus. So she decided to unblock the guy. He flew out to the retreat, and she went and stayed the night with him.
Wow.
At a different hotel.
Yeah.
So I think we're just about to see the total, complete end of them.
Gotcha.
I mean, up to date, we already know that she's moved on and they're not together anymore.
Yeah.
But it's sad. If he's cheating on her that much, then, and the therapist there said as much.
Yeah.
That it's not, like, he probably has something more going on.
Yeah.
And it's just sad.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's it.
Okay. Wow, what an action-packed edition of Brooke's Plays. Thanks for the download of all that info from a large variety of reality TV shows you watch. I didn't even know you really watched all of those, so props to you. Get that stopwatch ready because we're doing Jared Sports segment, the yet to be named Jared Sports segment. You got the stopwatch? I got 60 seconds to give my ranking of reality TV stars dating pro athletes, the conversion of my two real world TV joys. Okay, so let me know and we'll get into it before we talk about this week of Big Brother. Let me know.
Ready, go.
Okay, I clear the room. Normally I want to do 4 to 5 people in these rankings, but I've been going back and forth on whether or not to include these people in these rankings. It would be giving into the hype a little bit, but I think this, and it's kind of, does this even count? But because of the slim pickings that we have, let's talk about it. I think my 1 through 5 ranking this week and the last weeks that I haven't done it has to be former star of Catching Kelsey,
30 seconds,
reality TV star and pro athlete, Travis Kelce is now dating probably the most famous woman on the planet right now, Taylor Swift. He's a reality TV star and a pro athlete. I'm not sure if that counts. I've decided that it does, especially for this ranking. Because of that, they've been seen in people at games. They've been seen at stadiums together. Wow. Man, this goes by fast.
Wait, is this just, what ranking are they?
1, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Okay, done.
There you go.
They did 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Well, it's Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. I think they deserve all the rankings.
Okay.
Wow. And we're an hour into the ep, and we have not talked about the live episode of Big Brother. So let's get into it. We had another week of Big Brother go down. It was another week, to be honest, that there was no real back and forth. Once the target was decided, the house just kind of decided they were going home. And who was?
But it was surprising.
I don't know. I don't think it was that surprising.
For me, it was because, can we just say what ended up happening?
Yeah.
Was that Cameron got backdoored, but it was Bowie Jane who backdoored him.
Yeah, that was a little surprising.
Well, I thought that they were like each other's number ones because of that 1 week that they were left out of the vote to evict Red.
Right.
So I thought she would still hold true to that. And it did sound like she was until everyone got in her ear and was like, Cameron's doing this, Cameron's doing that, Cameron's blah, 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 blah.
Well, that's why I'm ultimately not surprised. Earlier on in the game, Bowie would literally walk out of rooms where people are trying to include her in game talk. Be like, okay, well, I don't want to be included in this, so I'm going to leave. When people are having fights about games, people will walk into a room and she'll be like, I'm not part of this, I'm just observing.
Yeah.
She seems like she doesn't really want to play. Even her two nominees initially were just to be like, I don't want to make noise. Yeah. I don't like these girls. I'm sending them home. Yeah. Until all of the house was like, let's get rid of Cameron. She was just going to be like, okay, I'll get rid of Cameron. Yeah. True. Now, they did bring her info that he was starting to lose faith in her because she didn't want to backdoor Corey. But that's why, because she really, it turns out, wasn't Cameron's number one. If you're working with someone and they're like, this person's trying to get me out, you would help him get them out, right? But she's like, I don't want to make waves. And that's just what it is with her. She doesn't want to play the game.
Yeah.
And
well, I don't know if that she doesn't want to play the game, but she definitely wants to be everybody's favorite in the game.
Yeah, she does. Well,
like, she wants to be friends with everybody. So, yeah, maybe.
It's frustrating watching her play, but I know that she has her fans, whether ironically or unironically, people do support Bowie Jane. So, let's talk. The week was an interesting week. It was important because longtime Big Brother fans know about Zingbot and Otev, and they combined both of those concepts into one this week, which was weird.
Well, it's kind of a bummer because then we don't get 2 different episodes of it.
Right.
But I mean, I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I wonder if they start, but yeah, we'll see what happens. It was a little awkward because they tried it was like reverse week or whatever. So at first he wasn't really zinging them. He was complimenting.
So yeah, they were scrambled up.
Right, he was complimenting them, and they're like, "What is this?" What's so weird about that is I now know and heard that the person in the suit is not the voice of Zingbot that we hear. Right?
What?
They just play Zingbot's voice to the loudspeakers. So just like that guy, just like the production voice, the Big Brother voice comes on and says, "Bowie, please put on your microphone." Through those same speakers on the house is zing. So there's just
really
a guy in a costume.
Out of the robot.
Right, there's just a guy in the robot costume going, just standing there awkwardly while they listen to the speakers
Y'all
singing.
Can't see, but Jarrett is fully doing the robot right now.
And he's killing it. Y'all should, wow, can you believe it?
I didn't know you could do that.
Oh my goodness.
So impressed.
So we've written down these things. We're going to run through them and see which one. Oh, we didn't write them down word for word. I bet you we could have found them word for word if we wanted to. But Brooke, what off our list, what was your favorite zing from Zingbot this week?
Oh, I mean, it's got to be Corey's.
Yeah.
So what Corey's was actually a zing towards America and Corey.
Right, because America already got her zing talking about her robbing the cradle, which is, hold on. Ding, 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 ding. This is, I forgot what it's called. What? Where you're, I forgot the term, but where you treat things differently for one gender than you do the other.
Sexism?
No, it's that, but it's like more like role reversal. If the roles were reversed, it's not the exact term I'm looking for. We've had tons of relationships in the Big Brother house where the man had the same
30.
age difference that America and Corey has.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe the girls have even been younger than Corey is, but it's literally not come up.
Yeah.
Like Corey's 22, I think she's 27. I feel like that's 25, 20, 26, 20. Guys that age have been with girls that age in the house. Literally, like more than we could count.
If we really also want to say it, it's the same age as Lydia and Milton. It's the same age gap as them.
Yeah, as Jeff and Jordan.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, there was a cradle rob, but it's like, oh, what is the word when that happens? But it's just, anyways, if the roles were reversed, but I can't, there's like a term that you use. Okay. I like that one. Because Zingbot sang Corey's zing to the tune of America. And sang the whole song. That was pretty, with like lyrics replaced that made fun of his thin mustache. Him being ugly.
He literally said, America, America, did you have a lobotomy?
Yeah, exactly. Talking about throwing him in the sea, called him short. Yeah, they really just hit it. They really did.
Talked about you said his thin mustache.
Exactly.
Like, literally. And Corey was like, I didn't just get zinged once. I got zinged like 7 times.
Yeah.
And he was like, the person in me is a little sad, but the super fan in me loves it.
Right. It's interesting. Some of these zings were like, okay, my favorite was actually Zingbot zinged Nicole. Said he was bored.
Oh,
she put him in a coma.
She's not even there anymore.
Right, but he was like, in fact, he's like, oops, my bad. She's so boring. I forgot that she got evicted last week. I thought that was straight on. But we got some of, some weren't as hard hitting as others.
Cameron's was good. He said,
well, it's a little by the book, don't you think?
What?
Every single, for like maybe the last 3 years now, there's someone in the house to get the zinc where it's not really like, oh, you're, they don't give it as much effort as they do Corey's or some of these others. They just literally say, and they have Zingbot curse and just say, you suck.
Yeah,
and they just curse.
He needed to be humbled. So.
Right. But like, I think they could give them I think the zings that hurt are a little more than just like, you freaking suck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're shocking, and so you get the shock factor laughs, but maybe like if they had gone into like his weird relationship with Riley, you know what I mean? And like how he like liked Riley, liked America, but ended up being a weird, creepy uncle to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff they could have done.
That's true.
That would have been maybe a little harder hitting.
Yeah.
They talked about Cirie losing on an island, just like in Survivor.
That was pretty good. Now I liked Blue's too because I have mentioned how Blue's phrases I don't really understand.
Right.
Purr, and Zingbot was like, the only thing worse than your fashion sense is your phrases, or it was the opposite. But I was just like, okay, thank you.
So that was that episode. We saw they won. The winner of the OTEV challenge was Jag.
Yep.
Which is starting to show. Jag's got a little competition beast in him.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, man, where are the women comp beasts this season?
I'm so disappointed.
I know Bowie won, but that was on accident. It was almost Felicia. So Felicia's, 1A comp. But it was just, it was one of those luck of the Irish type comps. I don't know why I said luck of the Irish. Luck of the draws type comps. And same thing with Bowie Jane's victory. But like America is left. Blue can't be counted on to win. Cirie looks like she may never win a comp on Big Brother ever.
It's so disappointing. But, because even on OTEV, she... So
messed
basically,
up, yeah.
with OTEV, he asks you he gives you like a riddle, clues, and you have to go find the pictures of the people that he's talking about. And she brought the wrong picture, which is just like, wake up, Cirie.
Yeah, it was bad. It was sad to watch. So Cirie's, like I said, they have to really. A woman can still win this season. But they're going to really have to navigate who they keep around if none of them plan on winning comps.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't want to have a guy who's won 3, 4, or 5 comps and can say, I played a good social game and I won comps, because then the women are going to be like, well, I didn't. And
then it's going to be tale as old as time. Well, you rode their coattails.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we get someone either stepping up or they start getting rid of the comp winners.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see who's going to win HOH, because it's not going to be Cameron, it's not going to be Jared, and those are the two main winners that we've had.
Right,
I would put money on right now on it being Jag.
To win the game?
No, to win this HOH.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, we did see that there was like, if I'm guessing correctly, this is going to be an HOH similar to last year's, where they split the house in two. They had a game. They had the house that lived outside, a house that stayed inside, 2 HOHs, multiple nominees, 2 people going home.
Completely secluded from each other.
Right. I think that's what's going to happen with this multiverse. There's going to be 2 houses. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I anticipate.
Well, what did Julie call it? Oh, the power of multiplicity.
Right. Which Multiplicity was this movie. I don't know exactly what multiplicity means. It just sounds like multiples of something. But Multiplicity was a movie where a guy like makes clones of himself. So I'm guessing that's what it's gonna be. You know what I mean? To cloning the house into 2. So we have to be honest. Okay, so they kind of go on a cliffhanger, but because we keep up with the live feeds, we do know that we did know at Tuesday night's episode that Bowie Jane. Jag used the power veto on Felicia, and then put up Cameron.
Right.
Because it was a house plan. So we knew that, even though Tuesday ended on a cliffhanger. Now we have to be honest. We are action packed on Thursdays because we had to watch The Golden Bachelor, and we had to watch. Oh my goodness! I'll address something in a second. Big Brother and Bachelor in Paradise comes on. We just realized that our DVR can't record 2 shows at once, so it records Bachelor in Paradise and not Big Brother. So by the time we get our son down and it's the second week in a row we try to watch this live eviction episode of Big Brother, it's not recording, and we don't watch.
Yeah, a snafu with the recording.
Yeah, long story short, we only saw like the last 20 minutes of the live eviction episode.
Right.
We saw little bits and clips of what happened and how Cameron kind of called out Bowie Jane, and we kind of gleaned from Cameron's eviction speech that him and Bowie Jane, she cleared the air and like told him why, and Cameron, we saw him get evicted, but he was very gracious about it. And unfortunately, I wish Cameron hadn't come out so strong and being weird and like saying weird things.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot I like about Cameron.
Had a lot of potential.
I respect his ability to win.
Yeah.
I actually think his self-deprecating, not take it too seriously humor is kind of charming. Kind of like, seems like kind of a guy that you would like be cool working with. You know, he'd come over like, hey, well, how's it going, pal? And you'd be like, hey, Cameron, how's it going?
You have a work relationship,
Yeah, he seems chill, but I mean, he did say stuff about hitting Riley and like, and just weird stuff he said. And as much as I have not seen it, the people have said a lot about how he creeps out America and stuff. So again, he's our first member of the jury.
Did we talk about how someone told him they remind him of
you, the stalker from You?
Yeah, the stalker from You. And I just so desperately wanted to be like, wait, that's not a good thing, right? And I don't know, that might have been part of his humor.
Yeah, I think he does know, and he just he doesn't mind making fun of him.
Yeah.
Doesn't mind making fun of himself. So just quick rundown of the episode. I'd say we do a Julie Fit ranking, but I mean, she said it. Everyone said it this week. She looked exquisite.
It was kind of basic, but she did look pretty good. I'll give her that. I would say this was one of her better looks.
Right. So we had them all do the exquisite bit, which was very funny. Julie caught on and turned it around on America. Let me guess, you're going to say I look exquisite. And then it ended perfectly with her asking Corey, like, how do you think I look? And he just paused and was like, good. Mm-hmm. And that was like the perfect ending. Mm-hmm. But then we saw he's a continued liar because he went back and said something totally different happened when they asked her, what'd you say? He's like, oh, unbearably exquisite. And you're like, Corey,
about that.
It's like starting to show he's a liar.
He's a liar.
Right. Those are the things we see that they don't see.
But also you're lying about that for what?
Yeah, it's like there's
nothing good gonna come from that for you in this game.
We could have missed it. They could have been like, Corey, please tell us you said exquisite, and he didn't want to seem like he ruined it. But I thought if he told him like how it happened, they would be like, oh, that's funny. But
I guarantee you he's going to tell America's going to tell somebody, and then everyone's going to be like, wow, Corey's a liar for no serious reason.
I hope that. So that was that. Let's quickly give our alliance this week. And what that means for us is, who do you think's playing the best game? Who do you think's playing the worst game? Who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting against?
Oh my gosh. Best game, I would say probably Jag and Matt right now.
Okay.
Who I'm rooting for, also probably Jag and Matt. And I still am holding out hope for America. Because I think she was really catching on to kind of what was going on in the house, and I think she was actually a key part in getting out. Who was it when they first flipped the vote? Jared?
Yes.
Was it Jared? Yeah. Getting Jared out. And then who I'm rooting against?
No, it was Izzy, but go ahead, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Izzy, you're right. Rooting against, I would have to say, I mean, people I just wouldn't really care if they went home would probably be Blue and, Bowie Jane, you know?
Yeah.
And then, is that it?
I think that's it. Okay, best game. For me, I would say, I agree, Jag and Matt are on track right now. Worst game, Blue. Rooting against, Bowie Jane. Rooting for, America and Suri. Okay. Before we go, we didn't get to talk. We forgot to talk about it in between the Big Brother and the Golden Bachelor, but we also watched Amazing Race this week. Another 90-minute episode where they ended it on not. Oh, you're like, oh, Phil, told them you're still racing, keep it moving. We had a lot of people. We had some bad moves this week in Amazing Race.
Yeah.
We saw the sisters use they elected to use their express pass for literally no reason.
And then at the end, they were like, "That what a waste," because we are lower in the rankings than we were last week.
Lower in the rankings, they're still racing, so it wasn't even an elimination leg. So even if they'd used it and gotten first, it literally meant nothing. No prizes or anything. Didn't keep them from getting loose. They could have gotten dead last and still would have been okay.
Right.
To not use it.
Speaking of dead last.
Right.
What Phil? Okay, so the brothers.
Yeah,
Liam
Phil told the brothers
were last, and Phil literally said, "You're team number 11. You're dead last."
Right. But he said dead last happily. He's like, "You're dead last,"
yeah.
And they were like, you could see they were like,
oh,
"What? Are you happy we're getting evicted or sent home?" But yeah, that was tough.
But yeah, they didn't go
right
because they're so racy.
Yeah, Jocelyn and Victor, our previous winners of the last two legs, ended up low. They were 10th.
Yeah,
is this correct?
This is rough. Because they got caught up, so they on the detour they had to make rice paper.
Yeah,
and they got caught up on the rice paper.
Right,
it was a toughie.
Team Texas, which is Annalie and her father, Steve, or team number 1. I think we're rooting for them, right?
Yeah, we like them.
And
now they had a little bit of drama,
just
because
tad.
Robin and Chelsea, are they friends, or I don't know what their relationship is.
Yeah,
Robin
they're friends. They
hair.
met in high school, and Robin was mean to her, bullied her on the soccer team.
Oh, that's them. Okay, yeah. So Robin was like, kind of didn't have nice things to say about Annalie. She was like, I mean, she wasn't just like really
very
rude.
Dismissive and condescending. I just have nothing in common with them. I do not get along with them. It's like, okay, cool. I don't care. Texas all the way. I told you this is a Texas episode. We don't stand for that.
Yeah. Annalie was just simply talking about frog races.
Right. Now she did turn it up a little bit.
Frog
now
race or
back
a turtle
on
race.
we were racing them frogs. It's just, we grab us some frogs and let them loose and see who won. Then we'd look up at the night sky and see the stars at night are big and bright, deep in the Arctic. So it was very Texan, but whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought Vietnam was very cool, very beautiful. Seeing them like the locations they went to in Vietnam were interesting. It was our first commercial flight that caused some drama. Listen, we'll end it here. We don't want to spend too much time on this, but just a little quick rant. If any of you listening to the show go on the Blazing Race, push. Do it politely. You know what I mean? Be a shining light in this world still. But you're on the Amazing Race. When you're doing commercial flights, don't just show up and the teams are like, oh, yeah, we're doing the 150 flight. And like, oh, we'll just do them. Talk to them. Say like, hey, can you call and see if we can get on an earlier flight? Are there cancellations? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that helped. The brothers and the former armed military bros. Buds.
Mustache.
Right.
Team Mustache.
Exactly. Got with the agent who was...
They literally got second. I don't even know what they were last week, and they went all the way up to second. Because
they pushed and didn't just fall in line and go on the flight they thought everyone else was going on. This race, it's like, if people... Oh my gosh. we're going to end it here in the next 2 minutes. But listen, if you get cast on Amazing Race, which who knows, maybe Brooke and I'll get cast and get eliminated the first leg, but we'll get a free trip to somewhere.
Eliminated in the first leg, babe.
We would definitely would. We definitely would. Okay, we're here. All right, let me give out this checklist. Read aloud the clue twice. Make sure you read it, and as you're going there, keep reading it. Right. Do when you're watching a competition where there's a demonstration, watch what the person does and do what they do.
And count how many times
they do it, how long they do something,
paper,
whatever their arrangement. Pay attention. You know what I mean? If it says go on foot, go on foot. If it says go by taxi, go by taxi. If you're booking commercial flights, keep booking. Don't just sit and say, we'll get here on our plane. Like, push. Yeah. You are in a race. Yeah. Always pay your taxi drivers fairly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't try to skip out on them. Yeah. And what's the other big one?
Learn how to drive stick shift.
Oh my gosh, please learn how to drive stick shift. Learn how to row a boat.
Row a boat and a canoe.
Yep.
And learn how to read a map.
Oh my gosh, learn how to read a map.
Apple Maps.
And please just make sure you have your passport in your fanny pack.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything else with you, keep your passport in your fanny pack. Yep. And get a fanny pack. You're going to need it for this race. Like, there's more, but those are just the ones that I think jump out at us, right?
Yeah.
So we've talked long enough. You're so gracious if you're listening to that. The secret word for this podcast this week.
Secret word?
Yeah. We're doing some analytics. See who listens this long. The secret word for the podcast this week is Bayou. I'll put up a question on Spotify.
That's gonna be embarrassing if nobody does it.
Yeah, the question is literally we always have the Q&A question that says what is like what'd you think of this episode? It's on every episode of the Spotify. It's like there automatically. Whoever comments Bayou first, when we make some People's Rose swag, some People's Rose merch. You'll get our first free edition of merch.
Yep.
Now that's not going to be anytime soon, but we've got you earmarked. Bayou, let us know in the Spotify thing. If you use other platforms, you can go to social media, our Instagram, our TikTok, our YouTube accounts, our Twitter accounts, any account that we have online. If you let us know that the secret word is Bayou, we'll go ahead and earmark you some People's Rose swag. So please follow us on those accounts. Please interact with us. Please tell your friends. Rate and review us on your podcast platforms. Brooke, do we have anything else that we wanted to talk about this week?
That's it.
I think we've covered it. This has been a great week of reality TV. We're going to have another one coming up, and we'll recap it with you next week. This has been another episode of The People's Rose, episode 20 of The People's Rose, and we're just excited that you...
already?
I know.
Oh my gosh.
We're excited that you're going on the ride with us. So, without further ado, have a blessed week, and bye.
Bye.